All right, let's get started. This is Enda here. It's been a while. I don't seem to be as regular with these videos as I used to be. I'm going to try and rectify that. I know I said I'd do an extra video every week, and not only did I not do an extra video every week, I went and did no video last week. Well, there was a point that because kids were home from school and very hard to get quiet time to actually do recording and so on and so forth while the kids are around. So kids are back to school. Now I can actually focus again. Here we are. Anyone who works at home knows that this is reality. This is real reality. Whatever reality you think you have outside of, family, it's not real reality. This is real reality. Okay, now let's get into it. It's been quite an interesting week this week. I'm going to give you a rundown of what's happened, and I'm going to tell you what I think is coming next. And you take that for what you want, put whatever emphasis you want on that. I'm going to tell you, I don't know the future, but that's never stopped me from speculating. So here we go. This is euro dollar. We introduced this triangle pattern, I think, last week. I'm not sure. I think, or was it earlier this week? We were working with a 1-2 pattern here, but or a series of 1-2s. We had 1-2, 1-2, and then that just kind of wasn't fitting correctly. But we did kind of uh, suggest, or we were looking for a downside anyway. So I think right now it looks like the triangle probably fits a little better with a wave E topping out early last or late last week, and now we're moving down pretty impulsively again this week. So let's get into what's the point here. So that's wave. You go all the way back here to October last year. That's wave A, then this triangle pattern wave B, and then we should get a C wave decline. So it's an ABC decline in a possible wave 2. If this triangle pattern is correct and wave C down does go as far as I think it could go, then we will probably get down towards parity again before we see an end to wave 2. We'll deal with that when we get there. Okay, let's go to the hourly count and I'll show you what I'm thinking here. It looks like I was thinking that wave 1 is completed yesterday at the slight higher low here. You'll see that that low is formed by the previous wave A of the triangle. That comes in at 109, 106.93. Was looking for a break of that in wave 1, and it seems like we've got that now. So we've got a possible 5-wave pattern with an extension in wave 5 here. So all in all, it's quite a good result. We're down, almost 200 points here now. Well, 240 points off the previous wave B high. So we've got a wave 1 down, 5-wave pattern. We should head lower in wave C. That's overall, I think the wave count is heading towards that parity kind of area again. And then that'll be the point to start looking towards euro again. Not right now. I don't think right now. Anyway, next week, let's continue this 5-wave pattern lower. That's the outlook, I suppose. Okay, so we've got a possible wave 2 top in cable. That was an ABC pattern up in wave 2. From there, we've started to come down impulsively. Could view this as a 1-2, 1-2, 3. I've basically taken the point that this is probably a 5-wave pattern. Wave 1, 3 waves up in wave 2. Now we're looking at a possible 1 and 2 to begin wave 3 again. So we get to the same end location, but on this time on cable, a little bit different than euro, but on cable we're looking at a decline in a third wave, not a decline in a C wave. Third wave down could bring us much further down than any C wave would bring in euro dollar. Okay, here's the hourly count in cable. We've got that wave 1 low. We've got 3 waves up on wave 2. That completed at 127.10. Fill the channel, and then we head lower impulsively. So we've broken to a new low this morning in wave 5 of 1. I do think we'll probably get a rebound early next week, maybe even starting today in wave 2. So unless we get a complete capitulation here, this isn't a third wave. This is just only wave 1 of 3. So we should get a 1-2 pattern and then a decline into wave 3 of 3 later next week. Again, do your own research. Don't hold me on that. This is, I can't tell the future. I am not God. Only God can do that. So here we go. This is dollar yen. I do laugh. We were back here in wave 4 at 140, and nothing but the end of the dollar was proclaimed from every media outlet and every commentator. All they could say was the dollar is about to end. And now I think that's been proved wrong. We're only, 3 months later, 4 months later, and here we are back to new highs again, above 153, so 1,300 points later. I suppose now we should start getting the opposite kind of proclamation from media that dollar is forever the king, or maybe they'll come up. That'll probably start happening up around the top of wave 5. But so far, this pattern is working out quite well. We've got a wave 1 and 2. We've got this third wave beginning. Now, there is a possibility that this is wave 1, and we have an irregular wave 2 here. It's possible. And now we're heading into wave 3 of 3. That will be decided next week whether we get any sort of a significant pullback in wave 2 or not. If not, then we'll look towards the more bullish outlook, I suppose. For the moment, we've got wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So we've got 5 waves pattern up, developing in wave 5. Momentum to the upside is kind of slowing. Maybe we're getting some sort of topping pattern in wave 5 of 1 here. And then look for a retracement next week in wave 2. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, the Dow. The last time I did a video, we were probably up near the highs, looking at the possible 5-wave pattern out of a triangle in wave 5, and now we have retraced back into the range of that triangle. So quite interestingly, we've broken the previous 4th wave low. We do have the possible 5-wave down pattern complete, so we are looking at a wave 1 down. The long-awaited wave 1 that never appeared may now be appearing. It is quite interesting, actually, if you look at the daily count. This is the long-term true wave pattern higher in wave B that we've been looking at. 3 waves up in wave B. Wave C reached equality with wave A. So wave A and wave C reached equality at 38,715, sorry. And now we have a throwover above the top trend channel line. Let's bring that into focus a little bit better. Let's see if I can bring that into focus a bit better. Yeah, okay, so we've got that 3 waves up, a little throwover over the top trend channel line, and now we have a possible impulsive decline. We haven't had a significant decline like this since, let's say, it'd be August 23. So we had that 5 waves down from let's say the early August down towards October. We had that 5-wave decline, which I thought was the beginning of that, that ever long-awaited 3rd wave down, but it did not work out that way. But now we have a significant decline again, which is mirroring what we had last August. So a more complete pattern to the upside and a significant decline in a possible 5-wave pattern. So, start adding 2 and 2, and you will probably start to get 4 soon enough. It's not 5, it's not 20, it's not 3. We're starting to get a proper picture here. So here's this triangle in wave 4. Here's the 5-wave pattern up into wave 5 of C, of B, and that completes 3 waves up in wave B. And now we should be heading lower in wave C. So we've got 1, 2, 3, irregular 4th wave, and then 5th wave down into yesterday's lows. It is possible. This is what the pattern we've been looking at since last night. So we've got a little small higher low building today. So that could be the start of 3 waves up in wave A. So if we turn higher, on the open in a couple hours, in about an hour and a half or so, is it? About an hour and 15 minutes. If we turn higher, that'll be wave C of A. So we'll probably complete 3 waves up in wave A today. Now it all depends. Again, I don't know how this is going to go. If we turn lower again, if we extend the pattern lower, then we could be looking at an extension down in wave one. And that will be interesting in and of itself. So this is what we're dealing with right now. We do have a possible 5-wave decline. I was looking for a break of 38,000. That would be that would break the low end of the previous triangle. So that would be the low end of the range of the previous triangle. So it's the wave 3 top. Then we have wave A, B, C, D, and E. So that forms a whole triangle pattern there. 38,000 marks the low end of the range. It would be nice to see a solid break through that. We did get a break of the 4th wave low itself. So, all in all, we're looking quite good. We do need a bearish lower high before turning down and accelerating into a 3rd wave. And that's what we'll be looking for next week. The bearish lower high, that is. Okay, we're going to go to gold. I have made reference lately of the fact that gold is now the answer to everyone's problems. And, I find it so interesting how this always seems to happen towards the end of a trend. So, is this the end of the trend? I just can't stop. I can't help asking myself that. Yet to be answered. I don't know whether that's whether I can answer that yet. Extension higher today, early this morning. It kind of confirms this week's sideways action as a correction. So we could be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to complete wave 5 of 3. We go to the hourly count. You can see we have a solid 5-wave pattern up in wave 3 in blue there. So we've got wave 1 and 2. Then we've got an extension in wave 3. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That completes wave 3 of 3. And then we've got an A, B, C, D, E triangle, wave 4. And we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have a filled trend channel. So the perfect best fit trend channel is now filled. We have a perfect 5-wave pattern to complete wave 5. We have a little throw over, an attempt in wave 3, and then a completion of a throw over in wave 5. It does go a little bit higher. It's quite possible that it will. I do think the next major move here is going to be a decline into a 4th wave. So we will retrace most, if not all, of this 5th wave rally, maybe even more. Probably bring us back towards the 2000 handle again. That should wipe a few smiles off people's faces and kind of wipe out a bit of the hysteria. Seems to be building every single time gold takes up some sort of momentum upside swing. It just seems to take people over quite quickly. So anyway, the pattern to the upside in wave 3 seems to be pretty much done. We look for a decline in wave 4 come our way. Okay, so crude oil. It's been a pretty sideways week, to be quite honest. Can't really make a whole lot from this action, but in general, we have. Go away from here. Move this to the side. We have a retracement in 3 waves in a 2nd wave complete. So it's the right sort of action at the right sort of time, if you might, if that's the way you would look at it. So we've got a turnaround, we've got a filled trend channel, we've got a throw over in place in the trend channel, we've got possible ending diagonal pattern complete in wave C, and now we have weakness off the high. So yeah, plus the fact that we're kind of in that range of where a 2nd wave would hit kind of Fibonacci resistance anyway. So we broke above the 62% retracement, and now we are kind of hanging in the range between 78 and 62. So it's interesting that this is all kind of leading the same direction. The ending diagonal pattern in wave C has completed 3 waves up in wave 5 of C. So that internal 3 waves of wave 5 has completed wave C. So that's exactly what you would look at. 3 waves up has itself filled trend channel in wave 5. And now we've seen some reasonably impulsive moves off that to the downside. Again, nothing is confirmed here. We've got no break of support yet. We've got no, solid 5-wave pattern lower yet. Still waiting for all that to happen. Maybe that's what I'd be looking for next week. I'd be looking for a break of initial support like that. That $80 level, 80.40 is looking quite interesting as it forms the high of wave 3 and the low of wave B. So we've got that swing high, swing low kind of pivot point marking that $80 area. So if we see an impulsive break of $80 again, I think that will probably seal the deal here. That wave 1 is underway. And that is the outlook for crude. Let's move on. Let's go to the S&P. It's the same pattern to the upside in the S&P. We've got an A equals C, and now we've got weakness off the top. We have the most extended, I think, rally coming. It would challenge any rally that we've ever seen in the S&P in terms of, let's say, the moving average difference here. The gap between the 200 and the 50 it has gone beyond the pale, I suppose. But if it's if it's a fake B wave high and this is wave C of B, maybe that's exactly what you would expect. It's easy to say that after the fact, isn't it? But here we have wave A up, wave B down, and wave C up. So that brings us out to a new all-time high. That is a false high. It's 3 waves up to a false new high. And it is, I think the last video I said, I entitled it, "This is a gift." So it's a gift if you want to get out. 3 waves up, a false high in wave B, and it is the perfect time to fool everybody, really. So you can see the gap that's happened there in between the MAs that didn't even feature, back in the 21 high, didn't feature previously back. I don't think it featured any previous high, to be quite honest. This will be closed. There's no doubt about that. It's gone too far for too long. Let's go to the 4-hour count here. You can see how we've kind of thrown out above the upper trend line here, and we've got this slowing momentum. We haven't got an impulsive decline yet. That's kind of, I suppose, a little bit suspect, but we do have 5 waves up. On the hourly count, we have a solid pattern into the high, and we've got a final 5th wave which traced out 5 waves up. So all in all, the upside has completed a solid pattern. The downside hasn't yet. So we'll be looking for, I'm going to be looking for, the initial 5 waves down. We've got enough of a reversal here to maybe start triggering some selling. We shall see today. If we continue lower today, that would be a very good sign, especially back below that 5,000 level. It's kind of it's probably taken up an important psychological position in people's minds now. If we break that level, that could see a lot of technical selling to the long. Any longs that would be willing to stay long may change their mind after that. That's pure speculation on my behalf. But let's see. The Dow is looking good. Let's see if the S&P actually turns into towards the same kind of vein. Right, here's silver. It's a daily chart in silver. I'm going to concentrate on the alternate count today in silver, simply because I am nothing if not a not a contrarian. Okay, I am contrary, but I'm also a contrarian. So the alternate count, you can see that marked in red here. We've all, in the bullish argument is so easy to make at this point that the hardest thing to do is actually look the other way. So I'm going to look the other way. This wave 2 low could still be looming in terms of this alternate count. So we could have 3 waves down in wave A. This could still be 3 waves up in wave B, looking for 5 waves down in wave C. The internal pattern of this, if this is a B wave, can be viewed as a 3-wave pattern, no problem. You could have wave A, where I've marked it, and then you have an A, B, C, D, and E in wave B, and then a 5-wave rally in wave C is now underway. You could also have this wave A high down here. You could have 3 waves up in wave A, and then an A extended B wave, C, D, and E, and then we've got 5 waves up already complete at the upper trend channel line. So depending on where you place this wave A, that kind of dictates where you would see wave C going. Now, wave A and C have probably come very close to. Let's go to the higher, let's say, version of wave B and wave A. That would predict a top at $30.80 for wave C. At this point, it's very easy to get there. You know, there's a momentum surge to the upside. We do have 5 waves up complete here, so I've been looking for a wave 1 top, but that doesn't seem to be materializing just yet. If this large triangle, as per the alternate daily count here, if this large triangle is actually true here, then wave C and wave A will reach equality up around that level, and then we will sell down in a major way down into wave C. So I would just urge some caution at this point, that silver has probably gone way too far, way too quickly. That doesn't, let's say, discount what can happen in a long-term bull case, but at this point, don't be too surprised if we do get some sort of sustained correction here, at least a sustained correction, let's say back towards that $25, $26 level, which formed the previous highs. Just don't be too surprised if we get that. All right, and I would just caution that 3-wave pattern to the upside is still a possibility. Let's not rule that out completely. Okay. We'll go to the hourly count. Not a whole lot point. We do have 5 waves up complete in wave 5 of 1, so I still favor, let's say, a corrective change to the downside in a second wave, and that'll be a significant enough decline anyway. So that's what I would be looking for in the next week or so. And I think that could just about do it. I'm not going to move on much from there. Cover the main markets. If you are interested, go to bullwise.org, check out the website, check out the membership options, or at least join the mailing list, and you'll get updates when I have them. Go join me on Twitter at bullwavesreal, I think. And it's always, even if you're a member, it's always a good thing to join on Twitter, because if the website ever goes down, I can actually contact you on there. Apart from that, I always end the presentation of the financial markets with, it's usually bad news. There's a lot of bad news in financial markets, but the good news of the Messiah. And if you've never been here before, if you've never heard the good news of the Messiah, good news is called the gospel. That's the Greek, Koine Greek term for good news is the gospel. That's what the apostles were all spreading 2,000 years ago. The story, the good news of the Messiah who came to make recompense for sin, to be the final atonement for sin for humanity. As he was born a Jew, raised a Jew, died a Jew, and as per the Hebrew faith in what we call the Old Testament faith always pictured a final sacrifice would come. And that final sacrifice was always called the Messiah, the Mashiach. the anointed one. That's where the word Christ, Christos in Greek, comes from. Christos is just a Greek word from Messiah, Mashiach. So Christ, the Messiah, was the final sacrifice. And he came 2,000 years ago, did that work on the cross, paid for the sin, lived a perfect life, offered his life as a payment for sin, to reach between humanity and God again. So God came down, paid for sin, to reconnect man and God again. And you can be reconnected to God through the Messiah. And just like the high priest used to place their hand on the head of that sacrifice, that Passover sacrifice, he had to believe that this sacrifice would atone for the sins of Israel as a nation. And these sins would be forgiven or atoned for or covered by the blood of that lamb. But the Lamb of God came and he took away the sin of the world through his sacrifice. And by believing in him, by placing your hand on him, and he can reach, by being a man, he can reach down and take you in hand, and reach up and take God in hand, and bring God and man back together through Messiah. And that's how eternal life is taken care of. If you don't want to do that, then first of all, I would actually urge you not to, because the alternative is eternal separation from God. I mean, if the Messiah came to bring God and man back together eternally, if you reject that, then the only option is eternal separation from God, and I don't think you want that. And I always like to present some form of proof or just the simple news of the gospel at the end of these videos. And here you can see the descendants of Adam and the descendants of, this is from Genesis 5. If you go read Genesis 5, you get the genealogy of Adam. And it goes from Adam to Seth, to Enosh and Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. And when you read the actual passage, it'll nearly put you to sleep. Adam beget Seth, and he was some 100 years old, and so on and so forth, and all the way down. And it takes like 50 lines of text to get to Noah. But if you take the meaning of the actual names of the sons of the son of the son of the son, if you take the meaning of the actual names, Adam means man, Seth means appointed, Enosh means mortal, Kenan means sorrow, Mahalalel means the blessed God, Jared means shall come down, Enoch means teaching, Methuselah means his death shall bring, Lamech means the despairing or despairing, and Noah means rest or comfort. So when you read out the meaning of the actual names, it's a prophecy of Messiah. Man is appointed mortal sorrow. The blessed God shall come down teaching, and his death shall bring the despairing rest. So from the sin of Adam, man is appointed mortal sorrow. Through the sin of Adam, we were disconnected from God. They were naked. When Adam and Eve were naked, it doesn't mean that they were naked. They were naked in the garden, but they realized they were naked because they lost the Spirit of God. They sinned and they lost the Spirit of God. And they were naked of the Spirit of God. And they were appointed through them, the original sin, we are appointed mortal sorrow. We were disconnected from the Spirit of God through the sin of Adam. But the blessed God shall come down teaching, and his death shall bring the despairing rest. And that's what happened through Messiah. So I would just invite you to look, because it's all over the scriptures. Jesus said himself, the scriptures speak of me. And the scriptures do speak of him, because he is the blessed God, and he did come down, and he did teach, and his death did bring us, the despairing, rest through faith in Messiah. And that's it. It's not religion. There's nothing religious about it. It's about your relationship with God and reconnecting you to eternity through Messiah. And if you accept him, St. Paul says, believe in your heart, confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and you will be saved, and that's it. And Jesus said 100 times, I don't know how many times in the Gospel of John, it's like, anyone who believes in me shall be saved. And that's that. And until next week, if I'm still around, I'll be back with another video and another presentation. Have a good week, good weekend. God bless. Godspeed. Bye-bye.